Welcome back to my channel, loves. It's your girl K Marie, and today we are going to be doing my labor and delivery story, as well as my how I found out I was pregnant with my son. And then at the end, you guys are also gonna get to meet my son as promised. So let's get into it. How I found out I was pregnant. So I found out that I was pregnant actually because of my daughter. My daughter is 5, and I don't know, it was kind of weird, honestly, because I never knew stuff like that could happen. But you know, we was talking on the phone or whatever one day, and she was basically just kept saying mommy baby, mommy baby. I'm like, what do you mean, Stink? Like, you the only baby mommy has, so what are you talking about? She was like, in your tummy. I'm like, mommy don't have a baby in her tummy. Like, you were the only child that mommy has. And after that phone conversation, it was just stuck in my brain. So, you know, I let, stuff boil over, but it's still that voice in the back of my head, take a test, take a test. Mimi said you were pregnant, take a test. But I just kept blowing it off over and over and over again. So then it came to the day where I actually took my test. I took my test January 19th, 2022. The day before my daughter's birthday, actually. So after I had came back home from doing my errands and, the adult things that you do, work and all that, I took a ovulation test. And I normally take ovulation tests just because in my past relationship, my son's father, we were actually trying to have a child. So I was taking ovulation tests. So I had some left over and I took it. Normally on an ovulation test, mine anyways, I never get two really dark lines. But that was the day I got 2 dark lines, like so dark to the point where I was like, I need to go get a pregnancy test. So I had went to my local Family Dollar and I got a pregnancy test. When I got back home, I instantly took it. And at first, it wasn't positive. I thought it was, negative. But again, the little birdie in the back of my head told me, go look at that test. I went back and I looked at that test. It was positive. My stomach dropped. Like, I didn't know what I was gonna do. I was stable. I had my own place and everything like that. It was just, wow, I'm really about to have another kid. And so the first person I called was actually my sister, Pika. And I told her, and you could tell her stomach dropped. She could not believe it. That's how I found out I was pregnant. I went through my whole pregnancy perfectly fine. I'm a small person. I am 5'2". As growing up and stuff like that, I could feel, my growing pains and stuff like that. So I experienced a lot of pain, pelvic pain, back pain, and all that through my pregnancy. So the day that I actually found out that I was in labor with my son was traumatic. On August 15th, 2022, I was, starting my day as normal. I got up, I ate, I brushed my teeth, washed my face, just the normal. And after I ate, I laid back down. Now, with either one of my kids, I always have to lay on my side. I can't stay on my back for too long unless I'm trying to watch them kick the mess out of me. So, while I'm laying down though, I called my sister and I basically had to ask her because my kids have a 4-year gap. So it had been a little while for me to remember how things were supposed to feel. I had Braxton Hicks throughout my pregnancy with my son, but the contractions, I know they feel similar, but they also are different. So I, just had to call my sister and basically ask her, like, Stink, is this how your contractions felt? And she basically told me yes. And so I told her straight out, I was like, I think I might be in early labor already. She was like, oh, well, just let it simmer through, time them if that's what you think is it. So I automatically know, like, sometimes, you drink some water, eat something, it tones down the contractions, especially if they're not really contractions. So that's what I did. I drank some water and yeah, but then all of a sudden, as I'm laying there, I get this really, really sharp pain to the point where I actually end up having to call the on-call doctor about it and see what they say. They basically was like, well, we want you to come in and get checked out just to make sure everything is good, everything is okay. Because at this point, I'm 34 weeks. Still, it's real early, but I'm close to, delivering. So I went and, I go and tell my mom, like, hey, the doctor wants me to go to the hospital and get checked out. She said, okay. So as I'm waiting for my mom to get dressed, get herself together, I'm getting myself together. I'm going ahead and bringing my hospital bags just in case an even more bigger pain had came about. So when finally got to the hospital, they basically told me I had a placenta abruption, meaning my placenta had detached itself from my uterine wall. That hurt so bad. So because of that, I had to get an emergency C-section. They didn't let me stay awake for the C-section like how they did with my daughter. They instantly put me to sleep. They was rushing to do everything. Like, once they told me that, doctors and nurses was running in, getting me together, trying to put an IV in my arm, trying to stick a catheter, and all of that. Just rushing. His life was really on the clock because there was no telling when my placenta had detached itself from the time I had basically woke up and started feeling that pain to the time I got to the hospital. So a lot of oxygen for his brain was lost. So I get the C-section and I'm in the recovery room and I don't know what happened other than the fact that I had to have my baby at 34 weeks and 4 days. And so my mom, she tells me that basically when my son came out, he was 4 pounds, 7.8 ounces. And then that also that he was lifeless when he came out. It took them over 10 minutes to resuscitate him. So automatically, I didn't get to hold him right off. I didn't get to have him by my side. I didn't get to do anything like that, which hurt, but I understood. He was premature and going through a lot. I'm just, this whole time, I'm just praying to God that everything was going to be okay with my baby. Especially after finding out that he was lifeless when he came out. So I'm in recovery at the hospital. My son is in the NICU. They had me basically recover for a full day before they let me go to the NICU to see him because I had all these drugs in my system. I wasn't going to be able to comprehend anything or anything like that. So, which I understood. So when I finally got to see him was when about maybe the second or third day after my C-section, and they basically let me know that he's fine, but he has to be on the oxygen machine, and he also is having seizures. So I'm like, okay, so what's the plan? Like, what are we gonna do about it? They was like, as of right now, we're gonna see what we can do here, which was the hospital that I delivered at. And then, but if things worsen, then they're gonna have to transfer him via helicopter to the closest children's hospital. So I'm like, okay. I did get to finally hold him for the first time, and this was before he was on the ventilator and stuff like that. And it was honestly, for me, scary because he was so small. Like, I could literally just hold him with my two hands like this. Like, I was so scared. Like, he just felt so fragile. Babies are fragile anyways, but he just felt like extremely fragile. While I'm actually holding him though for the first time, he's having seizures. It scared me, but I already knew what was going on and why he was reacting the way he was reacting. So it comes down to the 4th day, and the doctor, the NICU doctor, he comes and he lets me know that my son does have to be transferred to the nearest children's hospital, and that he was having up to 20 seizures in an hour. That is a lot. So I wasn't able to be with my son again until I officially was discharged from the hospital, which was like maybe 2 to 3 days later. I had to stay in the hospital for a full 7 days. So my mom, she did stay with him though while I was in the hospital, because me personally, I don't like anybody around my kids. I don't trust anybody around my kids. There are very few that I trust. I barely trust doctors around my kids. So I needed my mom to be there to make sure everything was going good. He wasn't getting no bad nurses until I got out the hospital. So yeah, my son, he's good, he's healthy, he's kicking, but he does have a lot of medical issues that unfortunately I can't speak about. But if you guys do want to know deeper about those issues, I'm very much open to talk to. Just, you'll have to follow me on my TikTok, and I'll do a story time on there too. So his birth was very traumatic. Very traumatic. If it didn't make me want to have another kid after him, honestly, but I'm not gonna say over it, but I've gotten used to it. And to, having to deal with his health needs on a daily basis and stuff like that. So yes, I do actually want one more kid. No more after that, just one. So now you guys get to meet my son. His name is Troy, and he is about to be 9 months on the 15th. He is very big for his age. He's already the size of an average 1-year-old. So guys, this is my son, Troy. He's came a long way. He's from ventilators, oxygen machines, feeding problems, and all that. He's came a long way. And again, I will be inserting pictures and everything like that. So, but this is actually going to conclude my video. Hi. This is going to conclude my video, and yeah. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you next time. Bye.